Greetings, Cougar mathematicians. This is a video walking you through how to solve percent problems, specifically discounts. These are the notes that will be handed out in class if you haven't already received them, that are going on pages 33 and 34 of your interactive student notebook. Today is January 13th, 2022. You will just cut on the dotted line. This one goes on the left-hand side and tape it in like a window so that you can use the lined paper behind it. And this side goes on the right-hand side, and you can use small pieces of tape to adhere the four corners or small dots of glue. Solving percent problems, specifically discounts, require us to use the same strategy that I've been teaching you in class with the graphic organizing system of the six-pack. But this time we're talking about markdowns and discounts. So I know you might have to tilt your head to the left to read these, but the definition of a markdown is listed here. Maybe I can make it larger. A markdown is the amount by which the regular price of an item is reduced. I feel like that really didn't get very large, or did it? Oh, okay, that's too large. There we go, 30 pixels. A discount is literally the same definition. We're just replacing the word markdown with discount. A discount is the amount by which the regular price of an item is reduced. So those words are interchangeable. Markdown and discount are when you have a regularly priced item and you change the amount that it's priced by marking it down. Perhaps it's gone on sale, perhaps you have a special coupon that you're offering the person. Number 5 and number 9, we have room to do those problems right on this page right here. Number 7 and number 11 is where you're going to need to have the window of your ISN open, because you likely won't be able to fit the work right on this page. So that's why we're taping or adhering this as a window by just putting the left side down so it opens like a flap. At the top, we've got directions that are telling us to find the total cost to the nearest cent. Let's look at number 5. Notice that I skipped those really easy ones because these ones that have more words in them, we need to be able to really use our annotating skills to pull out the information that's going to be most important. Number 5 says, a yearly coffee club subscription cost $65. Avery received an offer for 62% off the subscription cost. What is the sale price of the subscription? Round to the nearest cent. So I'm going to go in and I am going to annotate my problem. I read it once to get that word problem in my head and understand what's going on here. So the original cost of the subscription was $65, but because they were really trying to get her business, they gave her 62% off the original subscription cost. What is the sale price of the subscription? And of course, we're going to round it to the nearest cent. So I'm going to start by setting up my graphic organization system, which is just how we are going to figure out what goes where in a proportionate equality statement. We are dealing with percents, so we are going to write 100 in the lower left-hand corner. The original cost was $65. So the original cost still goes where the original amount would go in all of the other examples that we've gone through. This time, what I'm going to do is for the 62% off, because that's not what the discount is priced at, that's what it's being reduced by. I'm going to put the 62 here for the percent change. And I am going to use a downward arrow. You could use a negative sign or you can use a downward arrow. The question is, what is the sale price of the subscription? So for the purpose of these problems today, our sale price is usually where we would put our new amount, because our new amount is not going up today, it's being reduced. In order for us to be able to do this, I have to figure out what the new percent is that we are charging Avery for this subscription. 100 minus 62 gives us 38. And so when we do our cross multiplication, we are now going to be cross multiplying 38 times 65. What I noticed when I was walking around the room is that some of you are skipping a few of these steps. I certainly have no problem with people who have shown mastery of this skill, skipping certain steps. But on a test, or a skill test, or a skill quiz, where I'm looking at your paper, you need all 5 parts of a deal: annotating, math drawing, equation, answer, and label. These are just checks to make sure you have all of this information so that you can justify your answer. So I've annotated and I've got my math drawing. Now I'm going to write an equation. To find that sale price, I am going to multiply 38 times 65 and then divide by 100. When you use technology to find your answer, your sale price, the amount is 24.7. But since we're talking about money, we're going to label it with a $sign, 24.7, and you have to add a 0. We are required, when we're talking about money, to have 2 decimal digits. Now, when we have an even dollar amount, like if this was just 24, you could just put $sign 24 and leave it. But if you're going to have a decimal and a decimal digit, you have to include 2 of them. How many pennies are in a dollar? 100, which means we have to round to the nearest hundredth, which is 2 decimal digits. So the sale price that Avery was getting on this coffee club subscription was $24.70. And I'd say that's a pretty good deal, I guess, depending on how big the coffee is they give you. Remember, you can pause this video at any time to get yourself caught up as needed. Number 7, at an electronic store, a smartphone is on sale for 35% off the original price of $679. If you use the store credit, you can receive an additional 15% off the sale price. What is the final price of the smartphone if you use the store credit card? Round to the nearest cent. This is a 2-step problem. We've got 2 different parts that we're going to look at. And for my annotations here, I'm going to separate that by just highlighting the first part that we have to do with one color and the second part that we have to do with another color. So the yellow is the sale that is being offered on this smartphone. The green is a bonus for them to get you to open up the store credit card. Off topic, don't open the store credit card. It's a trap. They offer you these great, wonderful percents off and then end up really counting on you not making your payments on time, and then you end up owing more money than they originally gave you off. So let's see, how could I organize this? I'm going to just kind of put that in yellow, and I will make another one over here for green. Now I'm able to zoom in on this, so I am going to keep my notes here. I would recommend for you guys to do this on the inside. So when you open up the lined paper, split it in half, kind of in the middle, so that the top half is number 7 and the bottom half is number 11. For our original discount that they're giving us, we always start with 100 in the lower left-hand corner, so I'm just going to jot that down for both of them. Our original price was $679, and they were giving us 35% off. which means I would have to take 100, subtract 35, and that would leave me with 65. So what would our price be? So I'm going to do A and B for this, just to kind of make it easy here. So I'm going to use cross multiplication to solve for this first discount that they're giving us. And I'll circle these two numbers since I already used a highlighter. We are going to multiply 679 times 65, and we're going to divide by 100 to figure out what this first sale price is. You should pause the video and make sure that your calculations match mine. Get used to using that technology because I won't help you on a test. I calculated 441 and 35 hundredths, which means that this is the amount I'm going to put here for that additional 15% off. And so I'm just going to jot that in right now, 441.35. So our additional discount, if we use the store credit card, is 15%. And just like we did before, 100 minus 15 is another 85%. So do not combine 35 and 15 and think you're taking a shortcut. You have to do them in two different steps for this strategy here, because it is not a 50% discount. First, it's 35, and then after we take the 35, it's an additional 15, not a combination of the two. So for this second one that we're trying to find, I'm going to use the variable B. So B, to find that, we are going to cross multiply 85 and $441.35, and then divide by 100. So I don't feel like I can write that fantastically small here. Let me zoom in some more. This is kind of why I said that it would be best for you on pencil and paper to do it on the inside. So 85 times 441.35 divided by 100. And yes, I'm talking out loud for the video, but I also do talk out loud to myself. No worries, nothing to see here. When I do the calculations, maybe pause the video, see what you get, and see if it matches mine. I calculated 375 and 1475. I want to round to the nearest penny. So I'm going to draw a cutoff line right there, which means when I do my final answer, I'm going to round up one because that number is a 7. So should I round now or should I round after? No, that is our final answer. Sorry, I was doing a comparison. So how much do we end up paying after both of our discounts? $375.15. Cougars, there is more than one way to do this. This is the way that we have been using in class, which has been working really well for most of us. Please do not hesitate to come and see me if you have extra questions or need some extra help. I love talking about math. So we've done number 5, we've done number 7. Notice that I've annotated, I have a mathematical drawing, I wrote an equation, I found an answer, and I made sure to label it properly. Number 9 and number 11 are down here. Number 11, 100% we're going to need more paper. So for me, I'm not even going to bother. I'm not even going to bother trying to do it on here. I'm going to make myself a little love note, more notes, to help me remember to not even start over there. Back at number 9, this is our third example. A swimsuit is on sale for $45.50. If the sale price is discounted 5% from the original price, what was the original price? Round to the nearest cent. I like this one because this is something we haven't quite done yet. So when we set up our 6-pack organizer, There we are with our 100 in the lower left-hand corner. Let's look at these numbers up here. So it says that it is, dismiss. It says, I'm going to have to turn those notifications off. It says $45.50. That is what it is on sale for. And up at the top here, this is where the sale price goes. So we are going to put the $45.50 at the top here. It says that it was discounted by 5%. So I'm going to put a markdown of 5 right there, which means what did we end up paying for it? 95% of what it was originally offered for. The question was, what was the original price? The original price is in the same location in our organizer as the original amount. But because we're talking about money, we're using the word price. So we have enough information for us to be able to use cross multiplication. Do not get connected or emotionally attached to dividing by 100. The way that we are using this strategy, using cross products, is we are multiplying the two numbers that are diagonal from each other. In this case, it's 100 times 45.50. And then we're going to divide by the 95. So to find our price, I'm going to write that down. When you do the math and find the calculations, what you're going to find is that the price is 47.894. 47.894. What does that round to when we're talking about the nearest cent? $47.89. All right, number 11. We have our information up here at the top already organized in a chart. You don't need to annotate the chart, but we do need to look at all of the information on the inside so that we can see what we need to do. It says a recreational outlet has 2 trampolines on sale. So you can see you've got Sky Bouncer and Ultimate. The table shows the original prices. The Sky Bouncer is discounted 15%, and the Ultimate is discounted 13%. If the sales tax rate is 7.5%, which trampoline has the lower sale price? That's your first question. And the second question is, how much will you save by buying that lower sale price trampoline? And as always, we're going to round to the nearest cent. So let me go ahead and I'm going to just get this information and put it down here so that we can have it right with us. Now, you aren't going to need to rewrite this information over and over again. I just did it so that I had it all in front of me on the inside because I've now opened the window of my ISN. So we are making a comparison. We are comparing Sky Bouncer to Ultimate. So maybe I would do something like this. Sky, and I want to use my space wisely here. And maybe over on the right hand side I would write Ultimate. And I'm going to color with a purpose and use yellow for Sky, and I'm going to use this green for Ultimate, just so we kind of know that those are our spaces that we're going to figure this information out. So the first thing we need to do is figure out what the discounted amount was, and before we can add the sales tax. So let's go ahead and do that. Sky Bouncer is here, and Ultimate is here. I start with 100 in the lower left-hand corner, and my original price right next to it, $1,480 and $1,450. For Sky Bouncer, it was discounted by 15%, which means that we paid 85% of that original cost. For the Ultimate, it was discounted 13%, which means that we paid 87% of the original cost. Let's go ahead and just use the variable S and U for our unknown here. And take a moment, let's do those calculations. So I'm going to cross multiply the two numbers that I have that are diagonal to find my unknown, which is going to be those two here and these two right here. By this point, you should feel confident writing these equations. S is equal to 85 times 1,480 divided by 100. When I do the math for that, I find that my sale price for Sky Bouncer is $1,258. Maybe pause the video and see if you can write the equation on your own and then start it back up to compare what you've done. For the Ultimate, I'm going to multiply 87 times 1,450 and divide by 100. And my sale price for this one is $1,261.05. I'm not rounding anything until the very last step to the nearest cent. And unless they tell you to do otherwise, that is a gold standard of practice. So now next to it, and I'm going to switch colors to blue here, we need to find the sales tax on these discounted trampolines. And so I'll box these in to get things situated there. And our sales tax is 7.5%. You guys, the first time I did this, I only did 7, and my answer was off by a penny. And it drove me nuts trying to figure it out. And then I reread the question, and I saw that my mistake was that I didn't put the 0.5% there. So I set up my organization system so I know how to write my proportion to find my out-the-door cost of the Sky Bouncer trampoline. I know that my sales tax was 7.5%, and so what we're paying is 107.5% of 1,258. So my equation is going to look like this. And if you need to, make sure that you go back in and you can circle or highlight, whatever you need to do there. And I used the variable S again here. I think that I'm going to switch that. You know what? No, I won't switch it on you at this last moment. I'll just call it the second S over here. So when we do the math for this one using our technology, we would get 1,352 and 35 hundredths, which means that it's $1,352.35. I'm not going to write it with the label yet because that's not our final answer necessarily. For the Ultimate, for us to find the sales tax, we're doing very much the same thing. So we know that it was 100 in the lower left-hand corner. The sales tax was 7.5%, so 107.5, because we are adding the sales tax here. If you want, you can go in and you can draw that up arrow because we're using the skill that we learned yesterday. And keeping with the pattern here, I'll go ahead and use U again. And this discounted amount becomes our original amount that we're adding tax to. If you look at a receipt where you're paying tax on something, it would be called the subtotal. So in order for us to find the total cost, we have to add the tax. 1261.5, which means that our equation is going to be multiplying 107.5 times our original cost here. I don't think I have enough room to write that. Let me try a different spot here. Oops, I see that mistake that I made. Do you see what I did? That's why I say use a pencil. One more time, Mrs. Stevens. 107.5 is what I was supposed to write, times 1261.5. Whew, finally. And then we're going to divide by 100. And so the cost after taxes for this comes out to be 1,356 and 1125. Well, I at least have enough information to know which one is the better deal. And from this, I can see that the answer to my first problem is definitely going to be Sky Bouncer. So I'm just going to write this here. And our second problem is asking us, how much will you save? Well, that's not difficult. We're just going to do a subtraction problem. We're going to do 1,356, 1125, and we're going to subtract 1,352 and 35 hundredths to get what that value is. And so I'm just going to do a regular old subtraction problem. What I got was 3.7625. And I'm going to draw a line after my cutoff. I don't need to round that. My final cost that I saved by going with the other one is going to be $3.76. So I have answered question 1 and question 2 up here. And let me just go ahead and I'll highlight that. That's question 1, and this is the answer to question 2. You do not need to use this much highlighting. This is just me trying to make it easier for you when you are looking at this from a different location than in the classroom. There's a lot of steps to these apply questions, but this is a real life type of comparison that you might find yourself making. All right, if you have any questions, you know how to find me. See you soon.